Last night on Dancing with the Stars, we got quite the shocker when, unbelievably, the judges actually criticized people.
I love a good high water pant, but just for the future, sometimes for me, it breaks the line a little bit.
Oh, I hate these flood pants.
Oh, and also the ever-popular Skye Jackson ended up in the bottom two, but ultimately got saved by all three judges, and it's Chrishell Stause heading home, which I believe was the correct elimination this week. But Chrishell should hold her head high, as after what was a very rough first episode of the season, she battled back and improved week after week. Still, with who's remaining on the show, this was the correct elimination of the bottom two, and possibly even for the whole week, with some consideration to be made for Nelly going home. Now, we also had the surprise of Jeannie leaving the competition for medical reasons, as a life-threatening infection in her throat led her to a premature exit from the show. Thankfully, however, she's recovering well. As a result, last night, which was meant to be a double elimination night, ended up with Jeannie not returning and just one dancer, Chrishell, going home, leaving us with 7 more dancers left in the competition and the finale just around the corner. So with it being so close to the end, and this being a Bachelor channel and all, I thought it was time to ask the question, does Kaitlyn Bristowe actually have a legitimate shot at winning this thing? Now, Kaitlyn these past 2 episodes has been receiving more criticism than ever, and I honestly even hesitate to say that because this is a show where you're supposed to be criticized, and I don't think anyone's been mean or anything. And part of this increase in actual judging is probably because we're getting closer to the end, and maybe some of these judges' comments seem out of left field or harsher because in weeks past, our trio of judges have been going so easy on the dancers and now they're not. Or at least not as much. But Kaitlyn herself has been getting some of the more interesting comments from the judges. And why? Is it because they think she's slipping? Not entirely. It seems to be because they actually think she can win. Check out some of the comments the judges made.
I think you're amazing. I think you're fantastic. I think you can go all the way.
You can do everything. Now, we're approaching the finals.
They're talking about the finale with Kaitlyn. That's the direction they seem to think she's headed in. She's getting notes that are basically saying, we think you're headed to the finale and this is what you need to do to win. And Kaitlyn's main critique is something I 100% agree with. Kaitlyn is very light and easy when she dances, but she's missing what the judges call the attack. That fierceness in her emotion, that punch in her routine, something that I felt was a little more present early on in the season but has been missing these past 2 episodes. Fortunately, though, that can be worked on, and I'm not so concerned about judges' critiques for her moving forward. But when we're talking Kaitlyns' chances at actually bringing home the Mirror Ball trophy like Hannah Brown did, we have to talk about what it takes to win other than judging, and who else is likely to take the trophy. And of course, the other half of winning this thing is the audience vote. And Kaitlyn does have a strong audience backing, but just because she was the Bachelorette doesn't mean we can draw the same sort of comparison between her and Hannah Brown. Considering Hannah Brown was the Bachelorette the same year she was on Dancing with the Stars, she had a clear advantage in the popularity contest aspect of the show. Still, Kaitlyn's 1.8 million Instagram followers is nothing to balk at. But that comes nowhere near the heights of Skye Jackson's 7 million followers. So while we're here, let's take a second to talk about Skye, who I was very shocked to see in the bottom 2 after what I felt was an improved couple of weeks from her. Now, one of my main critiques for Skye was that she gets in her head and then freezes into a sort of smile. Last week we didn't see that, and this week we saw her breaking from it again despite a more upbeat, happier dance. Still, Skye, like most everyone else, received criticism from the judges and ended up in the middle of the pack, tied with AJ for overall points. Yet AJ survived the bottom 2. And Nelly, who was the clear bottom scorer for the evening, also was saved by audience vote. And this is important when talking about Kaitlyn's chances of winning because I felt that Skye was a frontrunner here, as 1, she has the ability to pull out a 10, we've seen it before, and 2, she's got a huge following that can save her. We saw it just a few weeks prior when she stumbled, got the lowest score of the night, but still was saved from reaching the bottom 2. That didn't happen this week, however. So perhaps Skye is more vulnerable than I thought, leaving Kaitlyn in a great position to actually grab that Mirror Ball trophy. Yes, this could be just a blip on the radar, but it's interesting nonetheless. Now on the other side of things is Neve, who is currently the strongest dancer in the competition as I see it. I had previously, before the Halloween episode, called Kaitlyn the most consistent dancer. That was then, this is now. And currently, Neve is the one to beat when it comes to purely dance. And I gotta say, I really have a hard time thinking Neve won't be in the finale. Mostly because, regardless of vote, I don't see a world where the judges ever choose him to go if he lands in the bottom 2. It would take a real fall from grace over the remaining episodes for that to even be considered. So it then comes down to, can Kaitlyn's backing outperform Neve's dances? I think if Kaitlyn can work on that attack and get a fire under her to bolster some of her scores a little more, she can beat Neve. Meaning her road to the mirror ball is actually an easy one to imagine. Now when it comes to the rest, it seems like most anyone can play spoiler at this point. The competition is tightening, and while I don't have a lot of faith in Nelly being able to push out the best dance of the night, he was obviously saved last episode, and who's to say that won't keep happening? What I liked from the night was Neve's and AJ's dances. Though it's true that AJ's dance had a little more contemporary in there than Rumba, but I personally like that. And what missed for me was the opening segment telling everyone how important it is to vote for your favorite dancer that night.
Exercise your right to vote.
Vote. Vote. Vote. For me, so I can avoid being eliminated.
A little out of touch if you ask me. Also, I think I pinpointed some of what I dislike about Tyra's chit-chat. It's stuff like this.
Judges, there is nothing that would make me want to trade places with you tonight. Everybody killed it tonight. It was amazing.
And from this, I get a feeling of fakeness. Cause no, everyone didn't kill it, and it wasn't that close of a night. Nelly was clearly at the bottom. I don't know, it's a small comment, but when there are enough of them on the season, I just stop believing Tyra. I was also sad to see Jeannie go. Her up routine was one of my favorite dances this year, and it would have been nice to see one more dance before she left. But at the end of the day, this video was about can Kaitlyn legitimately win the Mirror Ball trophy and have back-to-back Bachelorette winners? Well, with Skye showing vulnerability, critiques that Kaitlyn can actually work on moving forward, and a Bachelor Nation following that could push her over the top, I think she has a great shot. So that's it for this video on Dancing with the Stars. I may not be able to put these out every week, but I will 100% be covering the finals, or if anything shocking happens in the next few episodes. So thanks for watching, and be sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. I'll be back with more Bachelorette content after the new episode airs on Thursday, due to the election, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned to the channel for that. And until next video, Bachelor Fantake, out.
Vote. For me, so I can avoid being eliminated.
Chriselle, this is about voting in the election.
Right, that is super important.